Okay, this is case number 1175, Sean Price. Okay, Mr. Price?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what happened in your police incident. Please name the police department and give me all the details. And if there's any profanity or foul language, please use the exact words that were used by the officer.
Okay, I was standing in MAG Performance in Weirton, West Virginia, which is a mechanic shop on Main Street, right behind the Marathon gas station that I go to. At about 10:30 a.m., Detective Alexander walked in Weirton Police Department, and he walked into the MAG Performance shop, walked right up to me, and the first thing he said was, "Do you have something to say to me?" And I said, "I don't have anything to say to you." And he said, "Well, you know, you filed that complaint last year, and I wound up getting in trouble for it. You made me look like an ass." And I said, "Well, you know, that's because you acted like an ass and I filed a complaint." And he said, "Well, if you got anything left to say to me, you need to say it now, because I'll take my gun and my badge off and we can handle it right here, or I can go to where you live and come to your fucking house, or we can go right across the river to Steubenville, Ohio, and I can take you out down there, either way."
Now hold on, let me make sure I have this correct. Are you talking about the complaint that we filed on your behalf a year ago?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the complaint? What did you complain about? What was the allegation?
The allegation was that he came to my house last winter, I don't remember exactly what month, I had broken up with a girl, and supposedly it was his cousin, and he came to my house threatening me on that.
Okay, and you filed a complaint through our website.
Right, and I also filed a complaint through the State Patrol.
Okay, and the police found him guilty of misconduct?
Right.
Okay, how do is the only way that you verified that through this contact you had with him, or do you have an independent way of verifying that?
I could verify it if I went to the chief, but the last incident I had with Detective Alexander, his exact words were, "I'm not to go to any of his superiors or to the city manager or the mayor, or he'll see that something happens to me."
Okay, but you believe that he was punished, and therefore he behaved the way that he did in the second occasion?
Yes.
Okay. Continue where you left off with after the threats. Did he make more threats than that, or was that the extent of it?
No, on his last threat about going across the bridge to the state of Ohio, where he would consider it neutral ground and fighting me, I said, "Listen, Rob," his first name's Robert, I said, "Listen, Rob, I'm not going to lay my hands on you. I don't care what happens, because you're a cop. And if you're off duty and I touch you, you're still a cop, and I'm not going to touch you." So he called me a pussy, he said I was a bitch. And I said, well, so I started being sarcastic, and I said, "You're right, officer. Yes, sir, that's exactly what I am," because I wanted the guy out of the shop. He then said that his chief of police, named Bruce Marshall, and the city manager named Gary Dufour knew that he was down there confronting me about this, and that they supported his decision. I called him a liar, and then he told me, he said, "Look, it doesn't matter if I'm a cop or not. If I wanted to trump up a charge and drag your fat ass out of here, believe me, I could, and I can make sure that you never get out of jail again." And I said, "Dude, I'll just hire an attorney and I'll get out." And he said, "You won't have a chance to hire an attorney because you may not make it out of my car." And so then he turned around, he started walking off, and I said, "Listen, Rob, I don't appreciate you coming in here doing this." And he told me, he said that I was a bitch and he was going to find me and handle me. And then he walked off.
Okay. Now, when did this happen? What date and what time?
This would have happened on, oh boy, Monday of last week, somewhere around there. I don't have the exact date now.
Okay, Monday of last week?
It was around Monday of last week, yes.
Okay, that would have been the 5th.
Yes.
Okay. The 5th of October. All right. And were there any witnesses in the shop when this incident took place where he was making these threats?
Yes, there were. There was Mark Guglielmo, who's the owner of the shop, but he's afraid to talk to anyone.
Okay.
And there would have been his assistant, Joe, one of the delivery men from AutoZone who was bringing down some automotive parts. There's a company called LKQ that delivers engines for rebuilt engines. They wouldn't get out of the truck because they heard the argument. The people from the Marathon gas station heard the argument. And there was a few witnesses. There was another kid in there named Teddy. I
Okay, do me a favor. What was the location of this place? Would you say it was at a gas station or a parts store?
It's a mechanic shop. It's MAG Performance.
MAG Performance.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And how long were you there while this was going on?
Well, I go there almost every day because I'm friends with the owner, Mark. I was there for about an hour, then Rob came in. The incident lasted a good 20 or 30 minutes, and then he left, and I stayed there for another couple hours.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want to try to pull this up so I can see it. You said MAG Performance. Do you have an address for this?
Yes, I do. Let me find it real quick. What's this called at? The address for MAG will be 3628 West Main Street.
Okay. What's the zip?
26062.
66062?
26062.
26062. Got it. Okay, and how many people were in the shop at the time?
1, 2, 3. You mean everybody other than me, or everybody including me?
Yeah, everybody including you.
Including me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 people in the shop and 2 right outside the front door. So 7 people total heard it.
Okay. Okay. And was anyone recording? Were there cameras in the building that might have recorded some of this or any of this conversation?
No, there's no cameras in the shop. We were actually talking that day and putting some in.
Okay. All right. Now, are any of these witnesses that you named willing to talk with me, or are they all kind of scared as you described?
I think I could get 1 or 2 of them to speak up. Mark, the owner of the shop, doesn't want to because he does performance engines, and there's a lot of like racing involved in that, and he's kind of afraid of his friends having the fast cars trying to get down now if he gets on that.
Okay.
Which I understand, but I could get a couple of the other guys I know that would say something.
Okay. All right. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take a further look at your case. I'll discuss it with my staff. At this point, if he made these threats, he has some problems. Number one, he's still employed as an officer right now, as far as you know, correct?
Yes, he's a sergeant.
Okay. If he is still actively employed as a police officer, he's going to get hit with an unprofessional conduct charge, and the threats could even be criminal. And if he's found guilty of any of these charges, he could still be subject to losing his job, in addition to whatever criminal penalties he might face. If he's making these threats over time, my first suggestion is that you need to get an injunction or a restraining order against him. And you should.
The problem is, in this county, nobody's going to grant that against him.
Well,
they all like him. All the other officials love him.
Well, that's not so much the point. The point is that you're making them aware that he's threatening you, and you're putting it in the most deliberate fashion, memorializing that document in a way that will actually serve to protect you. If you just talk about it, it's completely unofficial, and there is no protection for you. But if you file a restraining order, and even if they reject it, it puts him in a position that if he does anything, they're going to now say, okay, now we're going to throw the book at him. But don't worry about getting rejected. Worry about putting it on record.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, I can have that done tomorrow morning.
That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is make some decisions about how you want to proceed with your complaint. Now, I'll have a staff member call you tomorrow morning, and she will be making some suggestions on what we think needs to happen. And then if you decide that you want our help, we have free services and we have fee-based services, but either way, we will help you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, well, something needs to be done because it's gotten to the point where I lived in a town called Weirton, West Virginia, the last time